Hey, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Poorboys. I'm your host, Derek. Today I'm going to be making some granola. It's a pretty easy snack, breakfast food, kind of anytime food, really. And I've been, making granola for the past few weeks, and I thought, I don't know why more people aren't making their own granola. It's so cheap, it's so simple, it's just ridiculously easy. I mean, you can't really beat it. So I'm going to show you guys how to make your own granola. So what I've got here is this regular mixing bowl, and we're going to start off with some rolled oats. So these are the regular whole rolled oats, not like the quick cooking oatmeal oats. Now, I buy these in the bulk food section. They're like 69 cents a pound. And then I bring them home and I just put them in a container. So like this is an old pickle jar that I just kind of recycled, if you will, and store them and then keep for really long time. So I'm going to measure out 2 cups of these and just put them into our mixing bowl. And like I said, this is going to be pretty cheap. So this is 69 cents, and this is our largest bowl. And we've got more rolled oats in this than anything else. I've got some flaxseed here. You might not have flaxseed, probably don't have flaxseed on hand, but it's actually fairly affordable. If you find it in the bulk food section, that's probably the best place to find it. Otherwise, you can find it in a bag or a jar, and it shouldn't be more than $2 a pound. If it is, I'd probably back off and look somewhere else. But I'm just going to use a 1/4 cup of flaxseed here. And that kind of gives it a nice, nutty, just a good flavor overall. So I've got some sunflower seeds here. These are just your regular sunflower seeds, but they're raw. They're not roasted, they're not salted, they're not anything. Now these are like, $1.50 a pound you can find in the bulk food section. And that's probably the cheapest you're going to find it. If you try and get it in a bag, you might not get it as cheap. So we're going to throw a 1/2 cup of these sunflower seeds in. Once again, recycled jar works so amazingly well. I've got some walnuts here too. I kind of like the flavor of walnuts in my granola, but you might find that if you go to the bulk food section, you might see walnuts for like $6.99 a pound, $7.99. That is kind of expensive. So sometimes you're not going to find the best deal in the bulk food section. These were just sitting out in the middle of the grocery store. It said baking nuts. And to be honest, technically, yeah, we're going to bake this granola, but these are just the same as the walnuts in the bulk food section. So these were actually pretty affordable. They were $3.99. So I'm going to put in a 1/2 cup of these walnuts in here as well. And we're going to go just a little more. All right, so I've got my oats and my nuts in the bowl here, in the mixing bowl here, and I also added a teaspoon of cinnamon. The cinnamon's gonna just kind of give it that extra little bite, that extra cinnamon spice flavor that's gonna really top this off and make it taste as good as the store-bought granola. Now, when I was talking about bulk foods, a lot of times you'll see granola in the bulk foods aisle in the grocery store, and you'll notice that granola runs like $4 a pound, $3 a pound. That's really not affordable. $3, $4 a pound, that costs more than cereal. So really, we just want to make it ourselves to really cut the cost. You can probably make this, and I haven't really done the calculation yet. I'll try and put some calculations up at the end of the episode. But just by my guesstimate, I think we can make this granola for less than $1 a pound. Once again, could be wrong, but pretty sure. Alright, so I need to add about a 1/3 cup of honey in here. Now you can use honey, you can use maple syrup, you can use agave nectar, you can use corn syrup if you wanted. I wouldn't really recommend using corn syrup, but you could if you want to go really, really, really cheap. But so I've just got some regular old honey here, and I'm going to try and get about a 1/3 cup in this. Now this might take a little squeezing, but honey you can usually find a container like this for like $3. But you know, if you find any deals, you know, you can find deals at like Trader Joe's or like some of those other places that might have, you know, just deals on their their brand of honey, which, you know, works out well. And we're not really going for any special kind of honey here. So I've got about a third cup in there, and I'm going to mix it up with this spatula, and I'll bring you in for a close-up here. All right, so we've got all of our oats and our nuts and our honey here, and you can see it. You kind of just have to keep mixing it until you really get the honey evenly distributed, covering all of the oats. So I mean, this kind of takes a little while, and you usually have to wipe off your spatula. So I'm going to continue mixing here, and then we'll come back when I've got everything consolidated and equally coated. All right, so I've got the oats and the honey pretty much, you know, pretty evenly coated. Everything looks pretty good. Everything's, you know, sticking together. There's no like loose oats in the bottom. So that's essentially how you want to get it. You don't want anything loose. You kind of want everything to stick together in a big ball, pretty much. In a loose ball, it'll break apart obviously, but yeah, just want to make sure all the stickiness in the honey has integrated into the whole mixture. So I've got a regular old cookie sheet here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this out. No oil, no butter, no nothing on the cookie sheet. And I'm going to spread this out on the cookie sheet here. I'm trying to get everything as much as I can onto here, and then we're just going to kind of mash it down, pat it down here, and get it evenly distributed on the cookie sheet. It might stick to your spatula, but that's obviously okay. We'll kind of want to keep it together so we get those nice granola chunks. Don't want to like mash it and spread it out to where, you know, everything's kind of in its own little ball, but as you can see, I mean, that looks pretty good. That looks fine. So I've got my oven, as I stated earlier, my oven's heated up to 200, and actually I have it to 275, but 275, 250, just under, anything under 350, you don't want, well, no, anything under 300, you don't want to be cooking this stuff, you just want to basically dry it out, as I stated earlier. So I've got everything here. I'm going to put this in the oven for about a half hour, 35 minutes, something like that. I'm going to put it in the oven, and 35 minutes later, we'll check it, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so it's been about a half hour. I'm going to pull out the granola here, and you'll know that it's kind of still soft. It's kind of still soft. It's not like granola, so we got to let it cool. And you can let it cool for you know, 15-20 minutes, and then it should harden up. And then what we'll do is we'll scrape it off the pan and kind of break it up so it looks like granola. And then we'll add in our raisins, and then we'll package it up, and you'll see the final product. So I'll see you in a bit. All right, so it's been about 15-20 minutes, and the granola here is, as you can see, is pretty hard. So what I'm doing is I'm actually just breaking it up off our cookie sheet with the spatula, and so you just kind of, you know, run the bottom along there, and some of it's going to fly out, but then obviously that's okay, and I just dropped a piece. So we're just going to break this up, and then I'm going to put it in a container. Now, one of the containers that I really like to use is actually this old Target container, the Target cereal container. So I'm just going to, you know, once I'm done breaking this up, I'm going to just dump it in there. So I'm going to continue doing that. Then I'm going to dump it in there, and then I'll add the raisins and shake it up, so mix all the raisins in. So I will continue breaking this up. All right, so I've got everything broken up. I'm just going to measure out my 1 cup of raisins here. So I've got those measured. And instead of mixing them in this container here, I'm just going to, you know, toss them right on top here. And as I dump this this into here, they'll kind of mix in. So instead of trying to dump it directly in here, I'm going to put this in a bowl to make it a little easier for myself. And then I'm going to dump that bowl. Obviously, it's a little more messy than I wanted it to be. And there's an extra bit here that didn't get broken up, so I keep that in. And now I gotta wipe off the countertop here. So then so there you go, granola on this episode of Poorboys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.